Yo, man, what up? You already know who it is. Let me go back to on the long shift. And like in the beginning.
Look, undo record, right? Make sure you hit this track down here. That's the active track.
Okay.
We gotta do the same thing. When you come back, make sure you go back. Make sure that's the active track. Make sure it's back there.
Right. Give me that. Here we go. Yo, what up, man? You already know who it is. And Mister, I see what you're doing. And as always, I see what you're doing. We got a special guest in the building tonight. One baby, Chosen One Entertainment, Admiral Brand Enterprise. Yo, man, we're gonna get into a lot of stuff tonight. Have you been watching the news? That's all I want to know. If you haven't, I'm gonna get you caught up to date. Nikki was in the news, man. We're talking about that vaccine. You feel me? Rest in peace to AJ Johnson, man. Ezel, we see you, boy. Schools, COVID vaccine, even down to Dr. Fauci, man. He said something about those booster shots. We're gonna jump right into it. Let's go. Yeah. Yo, here we are, man. Right in the middle of some things that's going on in the news, man. That should have you concerned. You feel me? And you hear the conspiracy theories all the time about how entertainers are ran and used by media, social media, news, and all of that. You feel me? Basically saying that they puppets. You know what I mean? So what we getting into right now, man, is something that is interesting to me. You feel me? Because it kind of speaks to your right to freedom of speech, which is in the Constitution. You feel me? And your right to have an opinion, which is also, you know what I'm saying, in the Constitution. If I'm not mistaken, I could read that. We talking about Nicki Minaj first, right? As I looked over the news most recently, Nicki Minaj has 150 fans, uh, 50 million followers on Twitter. And in the push for us to get vaccinated, the country, which at first you started out 75% of the country being vaccinated, herd immunity. Nikki said some things like, I want to do some research on it, which I think is fair. Okay. We're not knocking nobody for not getting vaccinated. We're not knocking people for getting vaccinated. The key to that is you should have your own personal choice on whether you want to get vaccinated or not. So what Nikki said was she um she didn't want to get the vaccine until she had did some more research on it. Not that she was not going to get the vaccine, just that she wanted to do some more research on it. And I mean, a lot of people in the country probably feel the same way. Not that you don't want to get the vaccine, you just want to make sure it's safe. You know what I'm saying? You hear all the theories about what's going on. We know in the news that they was like, oh, it causes blood clots. You know what I'm saying? It causes heart issues and things like that. You feel me? And in a system where, you know, you can totally identify that people have been oppressed. You know what I'm saying? Some people just want to take caution. You know what I mean? You can look back and go over the Vietnam War. You can look back and go over Tuskegee. You feel me? And then here we come with this vaccine, and people are supposed to just forget about what happened in the past and line up to get experimented on again because the two that I previously spoke of was experiments. You feel me? You look into this Nuremberg Code, and the Nuremberg Code says that There's 10 rules that cannot be violated. You feel me? Look it up and Google it. You feel me? One of them is this: it must be consensual for you to take that vaccine. And doctors are held to a code where they cannot do anything knowingly to hurt you. That's not the case with this. You feel me? You're in a position where the country is being separated by whether you want to get a vaccine or not. So back to what Nikki was saying. She was saying, yo, I want to do my research on it. Plus the fact my cousin got the vaccine. And I'm just going to keep 100 with you because here on this show, we don't really have to censor anything. He said he became impotent the day after he got the shot, his balls swelled. And I mean, shit, even with that right there, hey, fellas, do you want your balls to swell up? You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole bunch of questions of what else and things that go on behind the vaccine. You feel me? But in the middle of her saying that, she had a Twitter account disabled. She got a call from the White House, come in, speak to Dr. Fauci and another White House officials. And news reporters and people all over the world, black and white. So this is not a racist thing, but people who feel like they're in positions of power or feel they have the right to speak on this young lady's decision started to tear her down. Now we're in the building, but my man, you know what I'm saying? One baby, not something like one of the great thinkers of this generation. You feel me? One of the great researchers of this generation. You know what I'm saying? Basically, if you look at it like this here, if you ever thought that they was not puppeteering, they don't in that particular conversation. Nikki backtracked and said she didn't say that she wasn't going to get the vaccine. She wanted to just do her research on it. You feel me? I mean, is that a fair assumption?
I mean, let's look at it like this. And I'm gonna say this. First of all, thank you for having me on this discussion. Just at the bare minimum, us as a whole, as a people, like individuals, when you were a child, you didn't. It was rare that you ran and jumped straight into a pool of water, and you knew 9 times out of 10 what was in.
The problem that you having, you feel me? When you get it for people that don't understand, emergency use authorization means that they do not have to divulge what's in the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do say something about what's in it, they don't necessarily have to tell you the truth. They can just say that. You feel me? That type of information doesn't have to come to you until it's approved by the FDA. Now, what does that mean? That means that there's a few million people out here that went and got this vaccine without knowing what was in it. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened with that. Now, whether you like it, what's being said or not, that's what happened with that. Now, if you don't believe it, go back and Google emergency use authorization. They don't have to tell you what's in it. You feel me? I know you see the pictures on the news and all that. But when you in the world, you would think that if you skeptical about everything else, you don't want to be skeptical about this. You feel me? Like we go into the thing where she said it's the same thing that a large amount of people in the country are saying, hey man, let me get to my own conclusion about this thing. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Let me get to my own conclusion about this thing.
I mean, you know what though? I'm gonna speak on. I had a conversation about a week or so ago with an individual. And the individual made a very interesting statement to me. We were talking about the vaccine. We made the statements. Each of us had our opinion on it. Now, this was an older individual, much older than me, and the statement went more to this effect: I trust God, and I trust the scientists. And in that moment, I looked at him and said, them two things don't go together. because
Trust both.
scientists don't primarily believe the same thing that religion. Like she was basically, I'm a certain religion, and we religious believers, but I believe in science too. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of interesting. I mean, I believe it can happen, but more than that, I was told that a lot of scientists don't believe in religion; they believe in evolution. So that's what I say.
Right.
I was like, so what you can choose when you want to believe that aspect of it, huh? Like to me, I was like, it just didn't go together from my standpoint. I mean, it could be seen from a different aspect, but at that moment, I was like, I don't think those two go together like that.
Listen, man. And that's the interesting concept, because this is something that's being debated amongst society. You feel me?
Mm.
Whether or not you get a vaccine or not. The thing that you have to understand about this is whether you got vaccinated or not. The thing is starting to become real uncomfortable. You feel me?
Mm.
So I had somebody tell me, we all got to go sometime. My response to her was, you can get up out of here early. You feel me? You can rush listen. Don't by no means think that the statement that you make when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. Don't mean that you can rush it. You know what I'm saying? You cut your time short. You feel me? So as we look over this thing with this vaccine, you know what I'm saying? You have jobs and you have people, corporate America saying, if you don't get vaccinated, you can't work no more. To people who've been working 30, 40 years on the job, now I'm not good enough because I won't bend to your will. That's it. If you want to know what this thing is about, it's not about a vaccine. It's about control. You feel me? Definitely need to go and look up some of the stuff that they have out right now. I was reading I haven't had a chance to download the paper, you feel me? But when I see stuff people present me with stuff, it's true. You have to go do your research.
Oh yeah.
And this is something that I'm researching right now. You feel me? What it is, what happens is, it's pathology versus and I gotta go back and find it. But basically, the premise of what I'm trying to say is, if you have human DNA, and I do something to change your human DNA, you don't have human rights anymore because you don't have human DNA. You feel me? So if you don't have human DNA, you don't have human rights. Then you might as well be a cow, livestock or something. You know what I'm saying? It lines you up to become property. You feel me? That's what you're looking at. You feel me? And it's nothing to take offense to. It's just the thing that when you go and you look at the mRNA spike protein, right? Let's look at it from this particular point. If I go to the gym or work out and I take protein, what happens to me? I get bigger, my body changes. So if I put a spike protein in you, spike means make levels go up. You feel me? So if spike makes levels go up, then it's changing something inside, right? And then not even with that, if you check out what they said when they said about it first, what's in it? It's wrapped in the coating, a protective coating. It's undetectable by your body's defense system until it gets where it's supposed to go and do what it's supposed to do. Now, for someone to say, I want to do my research on this, you feel me? When they first dropped the idea about this vaccine, the statement was that this vaccine is going to keep you from getting COVID. And then when everybody started getting vaccinated, they started retracting and backtracking now. Well, it's not going to keep you from getting COVID, but you won't get severely sick. Right in there. Not lie number one. Oh, and by the way, because you got vaccinated, you need to keep wearing a mask. I was wearing the goddamn mask to keep from getting COVID. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got the vaccine to keep from getting COVID. Now I got to still wear a mask. You feel me? And in that particular case, you are no more better off getting the vaccine than you are not getting. You feel me?
Mm.
Because whether you like it or not, one way or another, COVID is going to get you. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, this is at the end of the day, when it comes to this COVID thing, the vaccine thing. Personally, this is how I feel. I don't care if you Nicki Minaj, Nikki Swanson, Nick Jenkins. If you want to get the vaccine, get it. If you don't. But don't go around demonizing or chastising, first and foremost, grown individuals about life decisions that. So we another thing that happened in that conversation I was talking about earlier was, oh well, you're not thinking about everyone else when you're not getting the shot. But if the vaccine is supposed to help you not get it, then if I don't get it, I mean, matter of fact, you made a statement yesterday. We were having a conversation. You said you're giving masks to people who don't have the vaccine.
Right. N95 mask.
You should be giving that to the people who have the vaccine. If because the whole thing was like, oh, people who have vaccines, they're giving people that COVID. But then you become a super spreader if you have the vaccine. So who is more harmful to who? If I don't have it and I choose not to get the vaccine, but you have gotten the vaccine and now have become more dangerous in retrospect than you were before you got it, and more dangerous than I, then you seem to be the problem in this aspect, in this equation.
And if you look at numbers, if you go to the CDC website, go check it out. If you look at it by the numbers, let's just do this. If you look at it by the numbers, and this is what they say, when you get your first shot, take 3 weeks for them to consider that your first shot is effective. If you get the second shot, that's a whole nother 3 weeks. You feel me? If you get the shot and die before those 3 weeks, you consider unvaccinated. So when you look at the numbers, the reason why they say unvaccinated people is because we don't get to see the numbers on how many people got vaccinated and became ill and passed away from it. We don't get to see that. You feel me? But if you don't survive the 3 weeks, then you consider unvaccinated. And that's where you get, oh man, all these unvaccinated people is dying. You feel me? Go back and check. Don't believe me. Go to the CDC site and look it up. Listen, this information is public knowledge, and that's the thing. We want to fight each other and battle each other over something that's separating this country. You feel me? In these United States of America, and you fighting each other over a person's freedom to choose, right?
Yeah, because if this is what I feel, people, don't straddle gate on your belief of it to each his own. You have a right to do what you want to do.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, if what I choose not to do does not impact you, then it really shouldn't be any of your business. Like, and you may say, oh well, if you're not getting it, I can get the COVID. Well, don't be mad at me. Be mad at your government because your government told you blatantly and wide open that if you got that vaccine, that you'd be safe. See, now I think that's the bigger issue. Like, I'm not mad. Like I said, anyone who doesn't get it, anybody who does get it. What we all are doing, we're fighting each other and arguing, bickering with each other when we should be bickering with the people who told us something that was not apparently true at the time they told us. You told me that this would make me safe, and then you turned around and said, well, it won't make you safe unless everybody gets it. But then you're also saying now, even that won't make you safe.
Right.
So I believe the thing about it is it's like it's the person in the room that antagonizes the situation. So now I know y'all, these people against me, these people are with me. It's easy for me to tell the people who are with me something against the people who aren't with me, and then get them to turn on the people who aren't with me. And that's what's happening right now. We should look at the powers that be and forcing them to stand up and own and stop trying to beat each other up. I won't beat any person up that got the vaccine. I won't beat any person up. And I mean, not literally, but just figuratively beat anyone up who chooses not to or chooses to. I'm for your choice and your right to do just that. I stand behind your right to make a choice and be have the right as an American to make those choices and stand on them. And outside of that, if you have a problem, and the problem should be with the powers that be that are trying to force you to believe that somehow your neighbor or the person next to you or your friend or your family member who chose not to do something that they are not inherently or obligated to do is somehow wrong or wronging you.
Okay. And I agree with that. And this is the thing. Like, let's get the herd immunity. Are you trying to get the herd immunity? You got blood clots, and like I said, blood clots, and medical issues, and all this stuff coming up. Then, on top of that, if you haven't been watching the news because you just so busy and so caught up, Pfizer is getting ready to go into a go and request a emergency use authorization for kids 5 to 11. You know what I'm saying? Like, this, if it ain't good for you, they get ready to come after the children. You feel? And if you're not gonna stand for something, then ashes, we all fall down. Well, not we all, but what I'm saying is they get ready to come after your kids. And I know you heard it before when I'm talking about Pfizer is in the process. You feel me? And I'm talking about the concern with that is some the kids that we have now, just depending on when they go to get the emergency use authorization and when they approve it. Some of us have kids or grandkids, whatever, who aren't 5. But next year they're gonna turn 5. So guess what? They're trying to poke them 5. They're trying to poke them babies with that. With some shit that don't protect against the initial when this was like you said, this shit was supposed to keep you safe. You feel me? And I know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to feel like that bamboozled or hoodwinked. You feel me? Or got tricked in some shit. You feel me? And then you started feeling like, if I got it, everybody got to get it. No, that's not. This. What happened to stay in your lane? You know what I'm saying? What happened to mind the business that pays you? What happened to that? You feel me? Because now it's not mind the business that pays you. Now it's everybody in everybody's business. You feel me? If you don't get vaccinated, you got to wear this type of mask. You got to wear this type. If you vaccinated, you get to put on a big yellow button that says fully vaccinated, or you get to wear this type of mask. And what's the difference in the N95 and the surgical mask? If doctors can go in the operating room and wear that surgical mask, and what wasn't it a shortage on N95 masks? And now all of a sudden, it's a surplus. And I heard somebody say, well, maybe a lot of people not using it. Maybe people getting vaccinated, everybody don't need to get a mask. That's not true, because as it stands right now, you still need to wear a mask. Which would take me and segue me into something else that I found out by watching the news. They finna get ready to give out Flovit shots. You don't know what a Flovit shot is? That's flu vaccine and COVID combined. Stay with me, I'm gonna give it to you like this here. On the news this morning, they said this right here. Because last year, I don't even remember us having the flu season last year.
Mm.
You feel me?
Mm.
But on the news, for some reason, they have effectively predicted that this year flu season is going to be extremely more dangerous than last year's flu season. You feel me? On top of the fact that you have people at the White House saying there is no more flu and there is no common cold, but the flu is coming back. The flu is coming back. Polio is coming back. Shingles, well, shingles never really went anywhere. The whooping cough is coming back. And the question is, how do you know? That's it. How do you know that this stuff is coming back? You did. But that's not when you. I heard a great mentor of mine say, when the universe puts you on the magic classes, and you really get to see what the world is really about, you can't force nobody to see it, and you cannot take those glasses off. You feel me? And that's where you at right now. Everybody's not gonna get to it at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to say it, but some people ain't gonna get to it. It's gonna be too late. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, if you're not gonna stand for something, you'll fall for anything. You know, you can say, "Oh, and condolences out to all the families of people who lost their loved ones, right?"
Mm-hmm.
So if this particular thing attacks the immune system, then basically what happens is it's showing you how unhealthy people really are. You feel me? Like when it first popped out, people in the store buying up all the vitamins and all, you can't even find nothing on the shelf. You feel me? Hypothetically, that type of activity should still be going on. But it's not, because I'm in the store and I got a whole lot of those vitamins in my house. You feel me? That's all right. Exercise, you know what I'm saying? Walking, you know what I'm saying? The type of stuff that will keep your immune system boosted. Nobody has time for that. And I'm not scrutinizing nobody for what you do. Hey, like I said, live your life. And that's the key. Live your life, let me live mine. You feel me? Oh my God, y'all killing us because you won't go get the vaccine. You got it, you should be good.
So they said.
Yeah, but that's not what the case is. Segue into another thing. Booster shots. They spared you on the booster shots. If you got the vaccine, they spared you on the booster shot because they really went in that room with the government and asked that you get the booster shot after you get that vaccine. Exactly 8 months after you get the vaccine. So here go another thing. You get this vaccine and it's only effective for a year. And then you got to get a booster shot. You feel me? It's only effective for a year, and then you got to get a booster shot. Something to strengthen it back up means that at some point it's going to weaken. You feel me? So, with that being said, again, let's go back. What was the shot for? You know what I'm saying? So what they said was this: if you're 65 or older, a booster shot is coming.
But you asked the question. That's what I believe about the shot. The one thing you can give anyone who's in fear is a solution.
Right.
Whether it's a placebo or an actual solution, people, when they don't know, they just want an answer. Sometimes they don't even want a good answer. They just want an answer. So at the end of the day, I believe that they just need people. Some people just need an answer, and for a better answer to that, sometimes they'll take the answer even if they know it's not correct, because they need an answer so they can feel like everything's going to be okay. We get too complacent in our comfortable lives,
Right.
that when something happens that in the least bit deters that comfort, we don't know how, or we haven't planned, or we haven't put things aside, or set ourselves up for that moment of discomfort. So we don't know how to act. Like as a whole, we don't see how good it was to be able to go in the house and get things done in your house during this COVID thing. But once again, I mean, I still stand on one thing of nothing else. I stand on the fact that if you choose not to do the vaccine, I'm with you.
Right.
If you choose not to or to, I put it like this: I'm in the same room on either one of those subjects.
Like,
You want to, you want not. So you tell me you didn't get it, good job. You tell me you did get it, good job. You
Right.
tell me you don't know, good job. But as long as that conversation is understood, that I respect your decisions, you respect mine, then not like the rest of it is really propaganda to me.
Right. So the basic is this. You understand? And this is how everybody should be. I'm with you if you're right. I'm with you if you're wrong. That's your decision. I'm with you either way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna run off from my loved ones or friends or anything because you got the vaccine. I'm not gonna treat you no different. And if you don't get the vaccine, I'm not gonna treat you no different. You know what I'm saying? The idea is this here. Let people have time to come up with a cognitive decision for themselves. And back on one more thing with that booster shot. Our Dr. Fauci, and I got the article in my phone, Google it, said don't get that booster shot until they have all the information on it. See, don't get the booster shot until they have all the information on it. But go get vaccinated. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just crazy, man, that's where we are in the world right now. You know what I'm saying? Where if I can't convince you with words, then I'm going to try to force you to get it by, jeopardizing your livelihood and things like that, which all is illegal. But another time I see you can you try anything until somebody stops you. You know what I'm saying? But it's just crazy. That's where we at in the world right now.
They feel like if I can't get you by cheer, I'll get you by fear.
Right.
But I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get
How the
you.
old folks would say, one way or another. No, I said one way or another.
Something got to give.
Right. Something got to give. So on and on to the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is so near and dear to my heart right now, because it's still touching on the topic of where we at in the world right now. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't see it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump into a small little break. And if you're checking in on Facebook Live or YouTube, whatever, man, what's up, man? Thanks for checking in. Thanks for tapping in with me, man. We're gonna take a little break. I'm gonna keep YouTube and Facebook jumping for a minute, man. We're gonna take a little break and then pay a few bills. I got my man in here today. You know what I'm saying? Albert Brand, the chosen one, sponsor me. So, all this lovely stuff you see in here, man, it's definitely, what I'm saying, because people believe in me and believe in what I'm doing. But we're gonna take a little break and we'll come right back to you. Woo. Yeah, man, and we back. Listen, so what I want to jump on next, man, is the situation with immigration. You feel me? And the reason why I want to jump on immigration is because it's a lot of stuff that went on concerning immigration. You feel me?
Mm.
You had people in Afghanistan getting on planes in America, flying them out of Afghanistan as they was bringing U.S. troops home. You feel me? You already had a situation with immigration because you had the Mexican border and everything, and they was hopping fences and crossing rivers and stuff. They was getting over here.
Mhm.
And then you have the situation with Haiti down the way. And when I looked over that particular situation, I was like, hey man, the people been in Afghanistan all their life. People been in Mexico all their life. People been in Haiti all their life. Venezuela, whatever. You feel me? Whether you like the conditions or where you at or not, that's where you've been all your life. You know what I'm saying? And you have a freedom to try to come or migrate to wherever you want to go and try to make a better life. We know in this particular country you have the DACA program, and you have programs set up that welcome immigrants into this country until you get to this right here. In Haiti, an earthquake hit Haiti, 7.5 magnitude earthquake hit Haiti. And on top of the earthquake, a hurricane or a tropical storm went across Haiti after the earthquake.
Mm.
So what you're dealing with right now in Haiti is a situation where um, 10,000 Haitians crossed the Rio Grande and are living under a bridge at the Mexican border in Texas. And my problem with the whole thing is this.
Mhm.
You know, Mexicans come freely. I just told you they flew 8 planes in of Afghans. People from Venezuela come in. All of them don't stay, but I'm talking about when you get here, you have an opportunity to stay. Yeah. Haiti, Venezuela, South America, all that stuff. You feel me? 10,000 Haitians, man, migrated to the United States because, as we know it, this is the greatest nation on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
This is the land of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But they flying them back. They put them on planes and they flying them back.
Let me interject on that. Now, I have been listening to the news. So, from what I understand, the thing I've heard and I'm not happy with is recently I heard as of today they were whooping with horse whips or something
Oh
like
yeah, I was
that,
gonna get with it.
which was I feel like is totally unnecessary and totally disrespectful. But what I also heard is that they are flying some back, but they are assessing if they are eligible for asylum. Um, as a whole, I do believe that the border crisis and the immigration crisis is, we can say it's a problem. It's been a problem. Um, Now, I just don't want, if like where I get from you coming from, if you're gonna treat, they're gonna treat Mexicans a certain way. Haitians need to have that same respect. If you're gonna let 10, 8,000, 10,000, 2 million other races into the United States, don't wait till it's a black race and then start trying to change up the narrative. Um, I'm downtrodden. I'm hurt about the treatment of all immigrants, especially right now since we're dealing with Haiti and what they've been through. Yeah, I'm downtrodden by how they're being treated. Um, and I just hope that it works out positive for all of them. Um, we do live in a country where, like I said, once again, we take for granted the luxuries we have, and we don't know how that feels. Like, I mean, I Haiti, I look over at Louisiana, I look at Texas and see the things that are going on over there right now. It's just crazy. And I just pray and hope that, all my brothers and sisters, that's for all races and all countries, my brothers and sisters of humanity, that this situation works out for them, because I don't know how that feels to have to travel. And like I said, I've read and heard that most of them were walking for 2 months
2 months.
to
That
get
means
here.
you had to leave the island of Haiti and get to land, and they walked for 2 months. And I'm glad you brought that up. But I wanted to go back to what you saw today, which was troubling to me. You feel me?
Mhm.
Because the troubling thing was you had Border Patrol using the horse rings to physically abuse Haitian immigrants. But you don't hear that type of activity. And I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but you don't hear that they was abusing Mexicans.
I won't say that. I mean,
I'm not saying that it
no,
don't
no, no,
happen,
but
I'm saying is
that's
you
what I'm
don't
saying.
hear that.
I know, cause no, during the time when the Mexicans and everything, I heard of rapes and separating parents from kids. Like I said again, at the end of the day, um, it's just a hard situation. I will say this and be fair. It's a hard situation on both ends. I won't just sit here and say, oh, it's just a hard thing for from the immigrant standpoint. No, it's a hard thing from the U.S. standpoint, because at the end of the day, it's no different than 100 of your relatives converting on your home all at one time, and you're like, whoa, wait, I hold up, like, you know what I'm saying? But then again, you don't go through that 100 and say, okay, cousin Larry, you can come in, and Auntie Susie, you can come in, and Grandma, since you got the bad, then you can come in.
Right.
Rest of y'all stay out here, because then that's what in there. Or you don't go out there and start punching your second cousin in the face because they came down,
Right.
and letting everybody else in the face, but you let you know what I'm saying, you let your your auntie come in. Those are the things that are the problem. Like, there's not a fairness across the board.
Right.
But I do believe there's unfairness throughout the whole process for everyone. Right now, it's just the light is shining on the fact that 10,000 Haitians happen to be at the forefront, right?
But I mean, when you look at that, and this is a question I'm posing. When you look at that,
Mm-hmm.
we had people from Afghanistan, and I'm not against nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not against it. I'm talking like, if you can get here and do what you gotta do, man. Do what you gotta do.
Mm-hmm.
My thing with that is give everybody the same fair shot.
And that's why, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you flew them in, you know what I'm saying, you have to look at some of the stuff that was going on. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like no passports, no COVID tests. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You evacuating them from a country that they live in all their life because it was a change of government.
Well, I think in that aspect they were seeking asylum because what I believe from that aspect on that end with Afghanistan, the majority of the people, from my understanding, I speak from that were evacuated were American supporters. So ultimately, if you're supporting, I'm supporting you,
right,
and I'm standing against, a group of people, and then you leave,
right.
But then when your mama leave and go to work, they're like,
Right.
you here with me now you got to deal with me by yourself.
And
So I think that was a portion of it. I want to believe,
yeah. But when I look at that particular situation, and I get that, you know what I'm saying? I get that. I get that. It was American supporters. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Because in a lot of cases, you deal with American supporters. Okay, so they brought them in. You know what I'm saying? American supporters. And I'm not sure that 8 planes of 600 people all was.
Oh no, I said for the majority.
Right.
I'm
But you
absolutely
understand
sure.
what I'm saying?
I'm
Right.
absolutely
I can totally
some stragglers jumped in there. I'm gonna tell you like this: if it was me, and right now, and they said we had to fly and scramble and go to France, and it's all going. I'm gonna try to be one of the people.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be. I don't care if I'm under one of the seats. I'm trying to get to it.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So I do totally understand that some stragglers made it through that. I don't doubt that at all.
Because you look at it, you go, it was people who was interpreting for, military and interpreting at the MC and all that. So I get that. You feel me? The thing that I looked back over it was like Haiti was in. I almost want to feel like Haiti was in a little worse of a situation. You feel me? That's what I want to feel like. Because I looked at it and I'm like, shit, got hit with an earthquake. You feel me? And here come a tropical storm right behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at it like that, I'm not saying that the situation in Afghanistan was ain't bad. You feel me? Because I mean, even with that, when you look at it on the news, the president at the time in Afghanistan got on the plane, did the president's wave, and hit the air, and ain't nobody heard from him since. You feel me?
Yeah.
And then you look at Haiti, and Haiti president was assassinated, and then all this stuff came behind it. You feel me? And I think that in my honest opinion, Haiti was in a little more turmoil. You feel me? But I don't remember nobody going over to kind of assess it, check it, or look at it. I don't think nobody hit.
I mean,
and went down to see.
I think
what we can do to help.
I stand behind this again. Like, yeah, I believe that at the end of the day, I believe that was that all of these situations are horrible. I believe that me not ever knowing and keeping my eye on that situation as fast or as close as I could have. I don't know what they did or didn't do.
Right.
So I'm one of those people that I don't want to put my mouth on anyone or tongue on anyone, or put bad words on anyone who I'm not sure what their efforts were. Maybe they did do the efforts, it just wasn't publicized as Afghanistan or anything like that. Either way, I go back to my original statement. Like,
but
my heart goes out to all of them as a whole. But right now, my heart goes out even more right now to Haiti and the Haitian immigrants, because of what they are going through and have went through. Like you stated, they went through an earthquake, tropical storm, and they went through all of this, and then came 2 months to come and try and seek asylum. Now again, it's all fair. As long as they, as long as I find out the study show that they're doing a fair assessment, meaning like don't just because what I heard was they woke up, they put them all on some buses, and they waited, like woke them, they took them overnight, woke them up in the first thing in the middle of the night, first in the morning, had their bags and stuff there, and just immediately started putting them back on planes, processing them, putting them back on planes. Right. So my question is, did you truly figure out who needs asylum and who's not? Or are you just saying, let me get these people back out of here?
Right.
So
I'm going to say this, we've been rocking for about we've been rocking for about an hour, and we're going to try to stay within respectable time limit. But when I hear you say that, that's the thing that makes me question. That's what makes me question whether it really went like that. You feel me? Or did you just say, we can't have these people here?
Yeah.
You feel me? And then if you go back after the 10,000 gone, and you look up and 10,000 Mexicans made it over here, and ain't nobody got flown back, then it's a whole nother question. You feel me? Like, I'm not, and again, so that you don't get it twisted, I have nothing against anybody. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is this: what's fair should be fair all the way across the board. You know what I'm saying? Like, bottom line. You know what I'm saying? And if it can't happen for one, then it can't happen for everybody. And if it does happen for one and it doesn't happen for everybody, then there's another conversation that needs to be had. Exactly. And then that conversation goes back to the top of the thing, that the top of the statement and the first topic that we had. You feel me? There's a lot of stuff that I could say. I'm just gonna say this here. You feel me? We not gonna line up and be first for every goddamn thing. You feel me?
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Like Facebook, YouTube, you can line up if you want to. You feel me? But don't expect all of us to line up together. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how that's gonna work. You feel me? Like, as it stands right now, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go into what my choice is about a vaccine or none of that. That's none of your business. You feel me? But I'm gonna say this here. We're not gonna all line up together. You feel me? And when you hear people say, "Oh man, you gotta look out for the people around you," and just like you said that, they gotta look out for themselves as well. You feel me? Don't make me responsible for your safety, and you're not gonna be responsible for your safety. You feel me? Bottom line. I mean, don't make me out to be the bad guy because you can't force me to do something off of my emotions. You feel me? Because you always supposed to watch and pray, and you're supposed to be as wise as a serpent and as gentle as a dove. That's what the Bible says. Now, before this pandemic happened, go back and think about if your concern was the same before the pandemic. We got to look out for each other as it is now, because right now, when you come on, when they come on TV, we all in this together. We ain't never all been in this shit together. You feel me? Sometime or another throughout this history that we on this planet, it's been them and us and they, or whatever the fuck you want to say. But I've never, as long as I live, known it to be we all in this together. You feel me? I ain't seen that. You know what I'm saying about? If I said that about me and my relatives, or me and my brothers and shit, yeah, we all in this together. You know what I'm talking about? But shit, I stand to think that if some shit went on and I ain't really familiar with my next door neighbor, we not all in this together. You feel me? So when it comes down to fighting this vaccine and combating this vaccine, I don't think that we all in this together. You know what I'm saying? I think that you look out for your family, you know what I'm saying, and do your best to not affect anybody else's lives negatively while dealing with this vaccine or while dealing with COVID. But that little thing, we all in this together. No, we not. We not. You know what I'm saying? I am my brother's keeper, and I am the monarch of my family. So I'm gonna look out for my family, and you look out for yours, and therefore, we should all be doing each other a solid and a hell of a fucking favor by, you know what I'm saying, being cautious and being hygienically responsible and being socially responsible. You feel me? That doesn't require a vaccine, because when you was a kid, you had to learn to wash your hands and be hygienic. The moment told you to brush your teeth, get in the shower, take a bath, wash your hands when you come from outside playing. Don't play in the dirt. Don't touch nothing filthy or nasty, okay? And before this pandemic, we didn't have to be this goddamn careful. So take that with a grain of salt and do whatever you will with it. As I said, I'm going to give my man okay. So we gonna close on this right here. You feel me? My man said he said everything you gotta say. You feel me? So we're gonna get out of here with this right here. Got anything?
Y'all stay safe. I know that's cliche, but I guess you gotta say it in this time. I know you spoke about earlier before we get up out of here. I know you spoke about AJ Johnson. I just want to say condolences to the family. You know, wonderful person. I've watched a lot of his movies. I watched a lot of his stand up. So watch him do a lot of interviews, and he's come a long way from House Party. You know, follow the drip, follow the drip. He
Ezel.
made us laugh in so many different movies. It's just
man.
the crazy part about it is I was at my brother's house, well, our brother's house, like the, during the week of last week, and we were watching I Got the Hook Up, and and after seeing that he had passed, I just sat back and just reflected on how funny that movie was, and
Yeah.
how funny he was as an individual. So I really just want to say once again, condolences to the family, and just want to say, you know, AJ Johnson, sir, thank you for all the laughs, thank you for the movies, thank you for everything that you've done for comedy, and you know, just thank you in general, and I hope that and I know that you're resting in peace, my brother.
Yes, sir. And thank you for your contribution to our culture. You feel me? Because we have to take ownership of some of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? We are extraordinary creative people as Black people. You feel me? We have done some amazing things on this earth and in this country that we have not got the credit that we deserve for. And this is not a racist thing. This is just me speaking. You know what I'm saying? When you go back and look over your history and truly dissect your history, Black people are some of the most resilient people in the world. And I speak like this because I firmly believe that Black history is not just in February. Black history is 400 years of struggle. You feel me? Black history should be celebrated 365 days a year, because any other race celebrates their history 365 days a year. We're going to get up out of here, man, because we have spent enough time with you. If you catch this, man, tag somebody in this, man. Let somebody know about this podcast, man. You can reach me by email at ISeeWhatYou'reDoingPodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, I'm going to post this to Facebook. I'm going to post it to YouTube. Make sure you follow me on social media, man. Because from this point going forward, the content going to get heavy and everything going to move real fast. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to push out at least 2 of these a week, maybe 3. Let's see how we do with 2, and we'll bump up to 3. You always know we got the merchandise. Keep the t-shirt. Check the t-shirt, man. You feel me? If you're on YouTube, you can see the banner behind me. I see what you're doing. I want you to take God with you wherever you go. Remember that I love you because God loved you first, and I love you for eternity because that's how long God will love you. Remember, celebrate your people. And tell your loved ones you love them because time is short. And where we at right now is getting short. Trust me, I know. And whenever you are out in the world, man, remember to be courteous to the people that are around you, no matter what color they are. And I always treat people with respect. Until I see you again, man, I'll be watching you, watching me, watch them so I can tell you what's going on so that you can be properly informed. And always remember, man, I see what you're doing.
No, I was telling you to go to the break so you can go into I see what you do. I was telling you what
with that. Let's see. That first shit we let me